boys and girls, children of all ages, welcome to Robert's Sports Show. I'm your host, Robert. We have a special wrestling topic show here today. Three different topics I want to discuss a little bit. What WWE needs to do to improve product. And then that's going to kind of roll into where the world, WWE versus NXT versus the world, match quality wise. And then kind of roll into the era of professional wrestling that we are in today. So we're going to start out with what I think WWE needs to do based on what's going on in the landscape of not only professional wrestling in the world, but in WWE right now. These shows, these pay-per-views, are getting fucking ridiculously long. I went to WrestleMania 34. We got to the arena. The pre-show started at 4. We got into the Superdome probably 3:50-ish. A little before 4, right around 4. Got to our seats. We had the pre-show matches. We had the marathon that was WrestleMania 34. We left that fucking building at 11 o'clock and it wasn't over yet. We left halfway, maybe a little over halfway through Lesnar Reigns. So we were there 7 fucking hours. The crowd died at 10 o'clock. So that last hour was the finish of AJ Nakamura, the debacle that was Braun Strowman and Nicholas as tag team champions, and then that piece of shit main event, Lesnar and Reigns. That was the last hour. Well, I was kind of watching the clock around 9:50, 10 o'clock. That crowd just went bloop. And it's like, okay, why? Well, normal pay-per-views, especially back in the day, a WWE show ended at between 9:40 and 9:50. People don't want quantity, they want quality. If you look around the professional wrestling business, we'll get to that, some of the best matches of 2018. Below what WWE's done, away. So let's look at how to fix WWE currently. Monday Night Raw. Ratings are at an all-time low. Every week they set a new low ratings record. How do you fix that? Well, here's what you do. You have the main event taping between 6 and 7 at the arena. And it shows on Hulu and the WWE Network. Then you have a 3-hour Raw. So you're there 4 hours if you're go there. Let's change that all up. Let's just redo that. Okay. Monday Night Raw. 7 p.m. to 9 p.m. 2 hours. Done. Old schoolness. Now, WWE still has that hour. Keep that hour on USA Network. Use it for other things. Take the main event. Make that an all-women's show. There's talk of doing women tag titles. There's talk of doing a women IC title. There's talk of doing a all-women's pay-per-view. Let's have an hour show called main event, called the women's main event, whatever the hell you want to call it. Get rid of main event and rename it for the women. Have cross-branded women on there. Have the Raw title on there. The SmackDown women's title on there. Do what you want. Don't kind of do like a 205 Live type of deal, but don't have a few storylines, but not major. Not have all based on storylines. You might have, Alexa Bliss versus Carmella non-title match, kind of bragging rights type of deal. You might do kind of the tag title thing. You might put your teams together and have the tag titles kind of defended on Raw and SmackDown and on that show kind of deal. Or have Raw and SmackDown have their own tag titles. But kind of have that more of an interpromotional kind of just women's only matches. Have some NXT women on there occasionally. And then have it air on the network on Monday night between 9 and 10. With that 9 to 10 time slot on USA, air that show once in a while. Air the week before NXT show. Air the week before 205 Live. Air the week before NXT UK show. To get people who normally don't see this product to see this product. But guess what? You can pimp the network a little bit more than you already do. Good God, they pimp the fucking network a lot now. But yet, you give the people, here's a taste of, have a cruiserweight title match, or have a number 1 contender match, Mustafa Ali versus Buddy Murphy. I give that match 4.5 when it aired on 205 Live. But have that match on there so people go, whoa, these cruiserweights, 205 Live, I want to tune in to see this. This is much-watch TV. What do I have to do to see this on a weekly basis? Oh, I have to get the network. Okay. So I got to spend $10 a month to get the 205 Live, to get NXT, to get NXT UK. Oh, by the way, I get all the fucking pay-per-views. Okay, I'll do it. Tuesday night, keep it the same. SmackDown Live 7 to 9, 205 Live 9 to 10. Yeah, still like that, but still like air that 205 Live on that hour time slot on Monday nights. Just kind of like you do with 205 Live right now. I mean, you have it butts up against SmackDown. So your SmackDown ends, you go into the network. You know, kind of do the same thing with the main event as a women's show. Have your NXT weekly on Wednesday, NXT that's out of Florida. Then have your NXT UK do that on Thursday night. Have your NXT takeovers that are now typically 2.5, 3 hours long. You can still have your 5 matches on the NXT takeover, but add a couple. Maybe add a match. Maybe make it. You can make them 4 hours because they're limited, and have a combination of UK and NXT. Boom, that product's already fucking phenomenal. Those guys we're getting and girls we're getting from Progress and from Defiant that's going to be on NXT UK, boom, off the chart. I mean, NXT is already a better product than WWE. You add NXT UK to it, it's just beyond the fact what WWE main roster is. There's a lot of people that I want them to stay in NXT or NXT UK. Do not go to the main roster. You will ruin them. Andrade Cien. There's a good factor. He is the next Eddie Guerrero. He should have won Money in the Bank this year. You shoot him through the fucking moon. You did it right last week. You had Andrade Cien versus AJ Styles. The match actually wasn't bad. I think I gave it 3.5, 3 3/4. That's a pay-per-view caliber match to start out a SmackDown. Because people don't realize how good Andrade Cien is because they haven't been watching NXT TakeOver because there's your typical wrestling fan. They don't have the network. You need them to see people like that to know how good they are. I've been saying that for a long time. Andrade Cien is the next Eddie Guerrero. We all know or remember how great the late Eddie Guerrero was. How great he was as champion. Cien is right there. Alright. Having 15, 16, 17 goddamn freaking pay-per-views a year. At least they quit the brand split finally. But still, I don't like the fact you have Elimination Chamber, you have Extreme Rules, you have TLC, you have, whatever the freaking match type as your name. So you kind of cornhole yourself into, okay, you want to have a feud between Sanity and New Day. We'll make it the tables match. So now you have a feud going on. You already had a gimmick on it. Now you have a feud going on. It's like, what? Feuds, typically gimmicks end feuds. You don't begin feuds with gimmicks. Get rid of the gimmick pay-per-views. 13 shows. Bam. You have 5 major shows that are 4 hours. The other 8 are 3 hours. You have an hour pre-show for the 3 hours, an hour and a half pre-show for the 4-hour shows. Every 4 weeks you have a pay-per-view. If you choose to have these pay-per-views outside the United States, more power to you. Let's go to Japan. Let's go to China. Let's go to Australia. Let's go to Mumbai. Let's go to wherever you want to go. UK, wherever you want to go. Do it. But stick to these 13. Alright, the 13 I have. We have to have Royal Rumble. That starts the year off. Same as now, you have 2 Royal Rumble matches. You have a men's and a women's. Bam. The winner of the Royal Rumble picks which title they go against at WrestleMania. Bam. Just like they did. Boom. Love it. Keep it going. Next pay-per-view, have No Way Out. Okay. Bring back an old school name. You're still going to have the chamber matches here. You're going to have a #1 contender for the men's and women's title who didn't choose for Rumble. So your Rumble winners, they have until No Way Out, which is a month, 4 weeks, to choose which title they want to go against. You set up a #1 contender match. Actually, no, they choose the first week, the Monday after Rumble, they choose which title they go against. Then you build up till No Way Out. So say the winner of the Rumble picks the Raw Women's title. You build up a chamber for the SmackDown Women's title. Say the winner of the Men's Rumble picks the SmackDown World title. You build up a chamber for the #1 contender for the Universal title at Mania. Then you have Fastlane. You don't need this necessarily, but you have a pay-per-view in between these two. You can kind of throw some other things out there with here. Maybe you don't have your world title on the line. Maybe you have the IC or the US title main event. Maybe you have a women's title main event. Maybe you set up some big elaborate tag team title, which I've always wanted to see something kind of like a four-way tag title, four-way elimination tag title, and then maybe do that here, or you even start that at No Way Out, and then you have it conclude here. You have a three-way, same, so you have the four-way at Fastlane, elimination. Leaves 3 teams. So the first team's eliminated, they're gone. The other 3 teams move on to Fastlane. You have some type of, you can put a gimmick on it of some sort, maybe a ladder match, maybe whatever. Not even necessarily a ladder match, that would kind of ruin it. Maybe like extreme, whatever, And then those 3, whoever gets eliminated is out, and the winner of that goes on to Mania. So you build up Fastlane as kind of a transition, kind of take a little heat off your world titles, build some other things up, some other programs up for Mania. Then you have WrestleMania. You still have the 2 Battle Royals that we've had for a couple of years now, at least this year for the women's. But instead of them being fucking pointless, have them mean something. The winner of them, they get a title shot at the next pay-per-view, which in my case is Backlash. So the winner of those 2 Battle Royals at Mania, they get a title shot at any title they want at Backlash, men and women. So, yeah, you're going to have some people going between the different brands, but you do that. So say say Bayley wins this, she's on Raw, she wins the women's title at Mania. She can go get the SmackDown title if she wants, whatever she wants to do. If she wins it, she's on SmackDown. If she loses it, she stays on Raw. Boom. Then you have Backlash, come out of Mania, you've had that for years, it's kind of a nice transition there. Kind of the Backlash for Mania. Then we go on to, we bring back an oldie but a goodie, we bring back King of the Ring. You have your King of the Ring show, which is one of your main 5. So your main 4, I've added the 5th one being King of the Ring. It's going to be a 4-hour show. You have your semifinals of your King of the Ring and Queen of the Ring brackets. But we're going to look. We have 3. We have A block, B block, and C block. I know. I stole that from New Japan Pro Wrestling Super Juniors tournament. Anybody who's like, wait a minute, A block, B block? Yes, I stole it from New Japan. You have A block, B block, C block. You have 8 men, 8 women in each bracket. The winner of each bracket so it's kind of a combination of New Japan Super Juniors tournament and the Battle of Los Angeles by PWG. Because you would have the winner of the 3 blocks, brackets, whatever you want to call them, have a triple threat match to decide who King of the Ring is and Queen of the Ring. So you have your 3 women's, 3 men's semifinal matches. You have your 2 Money in the Bank ladder matches, 1 men, 1 women's. Then you have your Queen of the Ring match, and then you have your King of the Ring match. The winners of the King of the Ring and Queen of the Ring go on to SummerSlam as number 1 contenders. Now, your two Money in the Banks there. The men, the women, in those, I would say 7's a nice number 4 ladder match and for the Money in the Bank. One stipulation. They can never, ever have won a world title on the main roster in WWE. So you wouldn't have a Daniel Bryan, a Randy Orton, a John Cena. You wouldn't have these guys. This is how you build your next generation. This is how you get the crowd to go, oh my God, Andrade Cien, Alberto Del Rio, Edge, Christian, never won one unfortunately, CM Punk. That's how you build people up. That's how you have an edge, win a Money in the Bank ladder match, hold that thing for 280 days, walk out and go like this with the briefcase to Vince right after Elimination Chamber match and become a world champion and the crowd goes crazy. That's how you do it. You build it up with the Money in the Bank. So King of the Ring, all it's going to have is your King of the Ring tournament, your 6 semifinal matches, because there's 3 blocks, remember, for men, for women, your 2 triple threat main events, Queen of the Ring, King of the Ring, 2 Money in the Bank ladder matches. Then we go on into No Mercy. You know what? You kind of have No Mercy as your kind of finished building thing, because you have 4 weeks until SummerSlam at this point. You have a Queen of the Ring, you have a King of the Ring. Oh yeah, you have 2 fresh Money in the Bank briefcase winners. So what's going to happen at No Mercy, Have No Mercy, maybe have some gimmicks on some things, finish some feuds up, start some stuff for SummerSlam. You got 4 weeks to build on your greatest party of the summer, SummerSlam. So you have your King and Queen of the Rings, have their title matches, sub-main, main event. And then you kind of build things, you still got those briefcases out there. And then you go on into Payback, kind of like you had Backlash from Mania, you have Payback, getting payback from what happened at SummerSlam. Then you go into, so in September, based on 2019 dates, every 4 weeks, we have 2 shows in September. September 1 and September 29th. This is more like, we'll call this one Armageddon, you know. It's kind of that odd pay-per-view for the year. You kind of do whatever you kind of do. Maybe have this one be in Mumbai or in Australia or wherever you want it. And then that leads 4 weeks into, right before Halloween, I'm bringing back an old WCW name. Because you really don't have the old school names besides your big 4. Halloween Havoc. This could be your Extreme Rules one. Havoc, Halloween. Have, do your stupid WWE kind of match, the pumpkin on the pole match, or, have pumpkins around a ring, people bashing people's head in an Extreme Rules match with pumpkins, whatever. Kind of bring back an old school feel so that way you get that fan and wait, Halloween Havoc? That's the old WCW pay-per-view. I gotta see what they're gonna do with this. Do it a little different than you normally show. Then that's gonna be your kind of go into your Survivor Series. They've kind of ruined Survivor Series because it's all been inter-promotional matches. I think you need to get away from that. I think you need to take Survivor Series and go old school. When I mean old school, I mean old school. Have it your 4-hour show. Still have some one-on-ones for your titles. Maybe have World title, Universal title. But then have Raw have their own Survivor Series matches. SmackDown have their own Survivor Series matches. And just do that, Maybe do one in a promotional one. Maybe have, the month lead up between Halloween Havoc and Survivor Series. Have the GMs kind of go, okay, who wants to represent Raw? Who wants to represent SmackDown? We need, we're have some qualifying matches, kind of build some really good teams, but still have your world champion not in it. Your Universal champion not in it. Maybe bring up a couple people from NXT for each team, or maybe bring a couple people over from 205 Live. Kind of get those people involved in it. Still have your Survivor Series, one of your big ones. And then end the year, going old school, old school. Bring back the name Starrcade. Just end the year with Starrcade. I mean, come on. What's better than that? Then you get, same thing with Halloween Havoc, you get that old school wrestling feel, because it's Starrcade. And the name Starrcade went from multiple different organizations over the years. Jim Crockett Promotions, NWA had it, I think, at one time. WCW had it. WWE's done, I think they did one show they called that or something, with some SmackDown or something. But there you go. I mean, you're limited the shows to every 4 weeks. You're limited the time. You get people quality. We want quality. And that's going to lead into WWE versus NXT versus the world. We're going to take a look at the best 5 matches between what NXT's done this year so far, what the WWE product has done so far, and what the world is mostly Ring of Honor, Progress, and New Japan. But I have currently watched a shit ton of wrestling here in 2018, and I have a shit ton still to watch. I'm not even close to being caught up on New Japan Pro Wrestling. I think I have a couple Progress chapters I haven't watched yet. So far, I've seen 150 what I would classify as 4-star matches, men's and women's. 25 from NXT, 24 from WWE. So the companies that I have said, hey, this is a 4-star match in my book: Defiant Wrestling, Impact Wrestling, Lucha Underground, New Japan Pro Wrestling, NXT, Progress Wrestling, Revolution Pro Wrestling, Red Pro Wrestling out of the UK, Ring of Honor, World Series of Wrestling out of Australia, WWE Wrestling, and Evolve. Now, a lot of these companies have streaming services. A lot of these companies will have shows on Fight TV app, where I've watched a lot of these. World Series of Wrestling, I watched Fight TV. The accessibility that I'll get to in the professional wrestling product right now is second to none. There's never been this much access to this much wrestling. So we're going to look at the best matches from WWE, from NXT, from the world. Let's start at WWE. What I think the best match of 2018 in WWE has been WrestleMania 34, triple threat match for the Intercontinental title. It's Seth Rollins versus IC Intercontinental Champion The Miz versus Finn Balor. Seth Rollins won it. I gave it 4.5. The second best match in WWE from 2018, WrestleMania 34. Cruiserweight title match on the pre-show. Cedric Alexander versus Mustafa Ali. I gave it 4.5. Alexander won. Next came from 205 Live on July 10th. Cruiserweight title match. Champion Cedric Alexander defended the title versus Hideo Itami. Alexander retained his title. I gave it 4.5. The fourth best match this year from 205 Live the week before, July 3rd, in a no disqualification match, Mustafa Ali versus Buddy Murphy. Mustafa Ali won, or Buddy Murphy won that, I believe. I gave it 4.5. And then number 5 came from WrestleMania 34, the SmackDown Women's title, champion Charlotte, beating the streak of Asuka. I gave it 4.5. So 5 4.5 star matches are the best 5 matches in WWE this year. Let's look at NXT. TakeOver Philadelphia, NXT title, NXT champion Andrade Cien defending the title versus Mr. Wrestling, Johnny Wrestling, Johnny Gargano. The first match I ever gave 5 stars to. If you have not watched it, go watch it. It's good. The next best match of the year came from NXT TakeOver New Orleans, the unsanctioned match between Johnny Gargano and Tommaso Ciampa. As they're live. It was pretty good. It was better when I rewatched it. Gargano winning, I gave it 5 star. The next match on here is from TakeOver Chicago. Chicago Street Fight. Rematch. Tommaso Ciampa versus Johnny Gargano. I gave it a 4 3/4. I thought the end kind of took away from it a little bit, with Ciampa's hands being tied behind his back and everything. But it showed us a different side of Johnny Gargano. And it kind of made that face of Johnny Gargano have to go to the heel tactics that Tommaso Ciampa, one of the best heels in recent memory in WWE, just saying. And Ciampa getting the victory, I gave it 4 3/4 star. Next, from TakeOver Philadelphia, just a singles match. Aleister Black versus Adam Cole. Extreme Rules, I believe, is the gimmick on it, if I remember right. Yeah, just good. 4 3/4, Aleister Black winning. And then the 5th best NXT match in this year was from NXT New Orleans. NXT North American title in a ladder match. EC3 versus Killian Dane versus Adam Cole. Bye-bye! Versus... who else was in that match? Oh, Velveteen Dream, Lars Sullivan, and Ricochet. Adam Cole winning. I gave it 4 3. The only thing that stopped me from giving that 5 stars was there was a few moments in it where everybody was knocked on the outside except for Lars Sullivan and Killian Dane, and they were fighting in the ring, and it just wasn't a lot of, to me it was like 2 big guys brawling at that point. I'm like, huh. So we had that wall of everyone laid out and these 2 guys fighting. I'm like, to me in a ladder match, you don't have that little wall. And that's the only reason I didn't give it 5. So look at that. Every one of those matches are better than what WWE's done. Let's step it up a little more. The best 5 matches from the world. I will say 4 of these came from New Japan Pro Wrestling. But we're going to start with number 5. Progress Chapter 61. Don't touch me, don't touch me. We had just a match between Adam Brooks and Will Ospreay. I knew how good Will Ospreay was before this match happened. After this match happened, I realized how good Will Ospreay was. 5-star match. Bam. I'm watching this match going, okay. When I watch a match, here's how I rate it. Andrade Cien Gargano, that's a 5. Boom. Am I going up or down from there? If I'm just a tick or 2 down, maybe I'll go 5. I'm a little more than a tick or 2, I'm going to go 4 3. If it's better than Mr. Gargano, it's 5. There's 5 is the ceiling. There is nothing on a 5-point rating system where you can have a match that's more than a 5. Just saying. If you feel that strongly, you rank those 5. But you don't have more than a 5. So I'm watching this match, comparing it in my head to Amos and Gargano, going, pretty equal. Pretty equal. Maybe just a tick below. I'm going 5. Next match we have on the list comes from New Japan Pro Wrestling. Dominating, something like that. 6.9. We had the IWGP World Title on the line. What took away from this match for me was knowing the results and knowing it was a 2 out of 3 falls. 64-minute match. 60-minute Iron Man match, basically 2 out of 3 falls. Okay. With Kazuchika Okada defending the title, holding it 720 days versus Kenny Omega. Okay. Now, 64 minutes, there was two, after each fall there was a 2-minute break, which led it to go more than 60. I knew that going in, so it took away from it a little bit for me. Kenny Omega winning the title, I gave it 5. Some people, Dave Meltzer, gave it 7. I don't fucking understand how. It's a 5-star rating system. 5 is the ceiling. I mean, is the ceiling is the roof? I mean, I don't know. But I gave it 5. It was great. It was good. 2 out of 3 falls. Oh my god, just the moves they did, the spots, just unbelievable. Number 3 on the list comes from the same show, New Japan Pro Wrestling, Domain 6.9, for the Junior Heavyweight title. We had champion Will Ospreay versus Hiromu Takahashi. If you've never seen Hiromu Takahashi, I advise going to find him. If you've never seen Will Ospreay, I would advise to go watch them. This match was good. I gave it a 5-star. Takahashi won the title. Next, we have the Best of the Super Juniors, Day 14. Yes, I said Day 14. The Super Junior tournament will not end. But it's just fucking phenomenal wrestling. We had Hiromu Takahashi versus Taiji Ishimori. If I spelled that right, said that first name right. Ishimori. Wow is all I gotta say about this guy. I watched him in Impact beginning of the year, winning Impact X Division Championship, which AJ Styles held, and Samoa Joe held. And then watching him in New Japan and sometimes in Ring of Honor, it's just unbelievable. You know, I mean, Ring of Honor has done stuff in New Japan that is just making it off the freaking hook of what's going on in professional wrestling. And then the greatest match, not WWE, that I've seen this year, was from New Japan Pro Wrestling, Strong Style Evolved. The Golden Lovers, Kota Ibushi, teaming up with Kenny Omega, versus the Young Bucks. Anytime the Young Bucks are involved, there's a super kick party! And they're Meltzer Driver, Uncle Dave Meltzer Driver, they call it. Unbelievable. So yeah, I mean, you see how, 5-star, 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 4 and 3, 5, and then 4.5. WWE is, they need to do quality over quantity. I don't want to see a show with 12 matches. I want to see a show with 8 great matches. Just the ability to access pro wrestling here in 2018. WWE thinks they can do no wrong. WWE thinks they run the world. Ring of Honor tried to book Madison Square Garden for WrestleMania weekend, coming up in 2018. They got blocked by WWE. New Japan Pro Wrestling said, alright, Ring of Honor, we do shows together all the time. Let's do a collaborative show. We'll call it G1 Supercard. We'll make it happen. Guess what happened? G1 Supercard booked for Madison Square Garden the Saturday before WrestleMania 35. Bam! WWE just got DX chopped. What WrestleMania weekend has turned into is we went to New Orleans for WrestleMania 34. We went to take over New Orleans. We went to WrestleCon. We went to Mania. J-Man and Jarvis from Dead Pulse Theory, they stayed for Monday Night Raw. There was a million shows that we didn't go to. Progress had 2 shows. Evolve had 2 shows. WWE Live had a show. Shimmer had a show. There was just so much going on, just a buzz of professional wrestling in New Orleans. We went to WrestleCon. There was Impact versus Lucha Underground at WrestleCon. We went to the actual show, the actual inside, walk around, meet and greet kind of guys. Had conversations with Austin Aries. Pulse and Jamie and Jarvis asked Aries, A-Double, what's his most underrated match that he's ever had? He thought for a second, went 2006 or 2005 PWG show versus the Brian Kendrick. We're like, what? Jarvis is like, I think I have that DVD actually. So I mean, you talk to guys like that, and that's what, you know. And I asked him, I was like, dude, you gonna accept Kenny King's challenge? He's like, I asked him if he's gonna wrestle Kenny King. He's like, hey, if he accepts my challenge, I'll be happy to wrestle him. He goes, I'm a belt collector. I'm collecting world titles around the world. I want to collect that Ring of Honor TV title. So it's like you have, you know, you almost get run over by Moose. You see Christian Cage standing by an elevator. You see Bully Ray and Velvet Sky standing in the lobby. You know, G-Man's hanging out over with Christian. And his wife was like, Justin, what are you doing? Hanging out with my buddy Christian. Christian looked down and was like, hey, what's up, buddy? That's my man. And, you know, G-Man was like, hey, can I get a selfie? And, of course, you know, I had to jump in. It's Christian. I mean, hello. But, you know, just accessing that kind of stuff like that. And they had the, you know, meet and greets and stuff. I'd rather just talk to him. I don't care about an autograph, you know. Yeah, shaking hands with Eric Bischoff and high-fiving Mick Foley and, you know, patting Moose on the back when you almost get ran over by him. I mean, that's how professional wrestling is, you know. Having a conversation with James Drake at the New Japan Pro Wrestling shirt table. Find out later it was freaking James Drake from Progress and from Defiant. And it's like, what the hell? I had a conversation with this guy? You know, and just the streaming services that are available right now. Not only WWE, WWN, which is Evolve and all that. Progress, New Japan Pro Wrestling, Impact, Ring of Honor, Smash Wrestling, WXW Now, Defy, AML Wrestling, PCW Ultra, NWA, Rev Pro, House of Hardcore, which is on Twitch. All this wrestling you can access. Yeah, you got to pay for it. Some, you know, anywhere from $4.99 a month to $9.99 a month, depends on the channel. But you can access some of the greatest pro wrestling ever. At one time, I always thought Will Ospreay, you know, some of these guys like that, even Kevin Owens now, and people that, you know, or Kevin Steen when he was on Ring of Honor, and Aries, and all these guys, like AJ, y'all need to go to WWE. Y'all have to go to WWE. I look at the guys now, like Ospreay and Takahashi and Okada and Omega and the Young Bucks. Don't go to WWE. Whatever you do, stay away from WWE. Because they're not going to use you the way you're being used now. Will Ospreay can have a match in World Series of Wrestling, New Japan Pro Wrestling, Progress, Defiant, Ring of Honor. He can go do whatever he wants to do, wherever he wants to do it, when he wants to do it, you know. He's a full-time wrestler for New Japan Pro Wrestling. But he can go over to Progress, and he helped build Progress up to what it is. He wants to build up, I've seen an interview with him, he wants to build up New Zealand wrestling, Australian wrestling. He wants to do all this. You know, he wants to be part of the All In show in Chicago that Kenny Omega and the Young Bucks and Cody are supporting. The first show since 1993, indie show, that wasn't named WWE or WCW to sell 10,000 tickets. It's not branded, but it's Cody Rhodes, it's the Bullet Club, Cody, the Young Bucks, Kenny Omega saying, we want to turn it on an indie show. We're going to sell 10,000 tickets because Dave Meltzer said they couldn't, and they did it. The matches aren't even announced for this card. It's sold out. 10,000. Unbelievable. Chris Jericho, he's been over in New Japan doing a lot. He's got the freaking Chris Jericho cruise coming up in October. There's matches announced for the cruise that involve Omega and the Bucks and Briscoes and these people that are coming on that cruise. If WWE is not careful, they're going to get passed by Progress, by New Japan. New Japan is doing shows in the United States. They're trying to, with the New Japan World, they are trying to get world renown. They have the talent to do it. They have the, if you want to watch pure professional wrestling, there you go. They're less sports entertainment, like WWE is less professional wrestling. WWE, step your game up. Tripp, take over. When Triple H takes over the whole kit and caboodle, Tripp's running the main roster, and Heartbreak Kid Shawn Michaels is running NXT, WWE will be just where it needs to be at. So that will wrap up the special wrestling topics. Any comments below would be greatly appreciated. As always, thanks for watching Robert Sports Show. Robert Sports Show, your YouTube leader, sports channel content. Don't just have a great day. Have a spiffy day.